Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first event of the Enrichment Week for students in data science and mathematics at the University of Derby. I'm delighted to welcome our first speaker, Dr. Calin Miron from Crowdstrike. Calin is a senior data scientist at Crowdstrike US, and one of the main reasons why I invited him is that we can talk about big data analytics, about data science, the 5Bs and so on. It's like we know the theory. Also in our course in MSc Big Data Analytics, we cover various aspects. So we see big data at work, we see data science tools, we see also technical, ethical, legal, moral limits of the technology, but it's very interesting to see from an industry perspective, what can you actually do? How is this technology used in practice? So Calin will tell you more about how machine learning, AI is used in practical contexts. Calin has a PhD in mathematics. He has a background in physics. This is how we met. We were colleagues at the University of Nottingham. So he has, I think, a strong STEM background. So physics, going to the highest level, so like International Physics Olympiad, then PhD in applied mathematics. Then he tried a few things. I think Calin will give us maybe more details about his career path until reaching now the status of senior data scientist. Yes, he's passionate about traveling and also about driving cars and also about singing. Actually, he has a very good voice. So I don't know if he will sing, but we will see. And also, I think Calin will give you more information about Crowdstrike. So thank you very much, Calin. Thanks for joining, and I look forward to seeing your presentation.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Ovidio. It's good to have this first interaction with the University of Derby through yourself. As you mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities in industry. And Crowdstrike is obviously, from my point, one of the best employers currently. I'll give you more details about Crowdstrike, the work we do, how I got into Crowdstrike, and what the data science team workload looks like. And at the end, please feel free to ask me any questions that are interesting for yourself. Yeah, again, I will also talk about the fact that we are hiring, so you are most welcome to apply and ask questions on these topics as well. Crowdstrike is one of the leading cybersecurity in the cybersecurity industry. Is one of the leading companies. We offer software as a service. We have our leading platform, Falcon, which is entirely based on the cloud and with a very lightweight agent on the sensors. We have a very good professional services team, which offer a lot of help regarding and consultation regarding cyber adversaries. And we have threat intelligence team that offer 24/7 protection. And they're always on the hunt to find out what the new breaches are, if a machine has been breached, and taking very quick response and remediation, because that's very important. It's not only the fact that you detect breaches, but what can you do to stop them and how fast you can react. So that's very important. Crowdstrike has been established in 2011, so about 10 years ago. Since then, with the headquarters in the US, since then it has grown to more than 3,000 employees worldwide. We have offices in the US, in Europe, in the UK, in India, and in Asia, and Australia as well. So we have a lot of offices, a lot of great employees that have joined us, and we are growing very, very quickly. Most of our workforce is remote. So as you mentioned before we started, all of us nowadays would have to adjust to working remotely, but Crowdstrike has been a pioneer in this field. Actually, even before the pandemic, I started this position in the UK working remotely, so it hasn't affected me that bad. So this is good. And our ideal at Crowdstrike is to be able to work from anywhere in the future. So yeah, that's very exciting times. Yeah, we have a lot of recognitions worldwide as a great employer. You can read all about this in LinkedIn, on Gartner, Magic Quadrants. Yeah. This is how an all hands looked in back in 2019. Nowadays, it's a completely different images. We hadn't had meetings since last year, but when we did have that in the past, and we are hopefully going to revert back to those all hand meetings, which are very exciting. This is how the atmosphere looks like. We usually travel when we have this all hands. We travel, with the engineering team. Or different guys like professional services have their own meetings, but I think this was this all hand meetings was just before or just after the Crowdstrike has IPO'd, so it went public on the New York stock market, and people are very happy because their all their stock options have been very, very highly rated. So you can see the happiness here. Then yeah, we we work in the cybersecurity field. So as I said, what we need to find out is have our customers been breached? Are we ready to respond to this? And how fast we can respond and protect our customers. We offer a lot of services, pre and post incident responses, a lot of strategic services in order to avoid being, our customers being breached and what measures they can take in this regard. We have a lot of teams, the red team, this is always on alert. They are always looking for threats on our customers' machines. We do a lot of adversary simulations in order to stay ahead of the curve, and because the adversaries are always on the hunt, so we need to be prepared. And yeah, this is what a typical incident would look like. A client contacts Crowdstrike about a possible breach. Then our professional services and threat hunters immediately look at what the incident that's being reporting looks like, and they perform all the analysis necessary. They look at the timeline of the attack, and they do the reporting and assist immediately with remediation. At Crowdstrike, we have a very interesting way of describing our incidents and our adversaries. We usually depict them with this kind of mythical creatures. And I'll tell you more about this in future slides. So it's very important for us in order to stop breaches. We have the Endpoint Protection, the Threat Intelligence team, our professional services, and obviously for our premium, our services include managed hunting. The data science team supports all of these fields because we develop models and patterns that help automate detection of all of this. So very early we send a lot of signals to the threat intelligence team, and therefore they can take an action. Yeah, we work as one team, although we are separate in different verticals. So we are a huge company. We have 3,000 employees working across different teams. However, we work as one, and that is very important. We provide the endpoint security, the security operation, and the threat intelligence. And these are the way we look at it, like next-gen antivirus, endpoint detection, response, device control. We do a lot of IT hygiene, and also we look at all the vulnerabilities on our clients. And the ways, our data science team works closely with the threat intelligence team because we work on the automation of the tools that we use, detection of malware and malware analysis. And this is how, all the products that we offer as a service within our Falcon platform look like. It's Falcon Prevent, Insight, Device Control, Falcon X, Sandbox. On the Sandbox things, I think I've also sent you I sent you an invite, to work with our Sandbox team. And this is something that Ovidiu will be able to give you more details if you ask him about. Yeah, these are how the adversaries look like. They are spread all across the globe. We have adversaries from Russia, which we generally denominate as the bear adversary. North Korea is known as Kolima. China is impersonated by the panda. Iran is the kitten in our denominations. India is the tiger, and other activist terrorists are jackal entities. So, and depending on the type of where the threat comes from, not only the country but the type of attack. If it's government or military, that's Pater Panda. If it's coming from the financial technology nonprofit, that's Deep Panda, and so on. Yeah, this is how a targeted intrusion looks like. This is mostly, just to give you a flavor of the work that Crowdstrike does in general, because we are looking at nation states and how they target us in terms of espionage and economic gain. These are, the main adversaries that I mentioned before: Russia, Vietnam, North Korea, South Korea, Iran, Pakistan, and so on. There are a lot of industries, of course, the government, because of data that it holds and all the military secrets, healthcare, life sciences, technologies. All of these industries are protected and need protection from cyber adversary. Of course, a lot of hacktivists and non-state actors are also. These are less. So these are adversary, which are not grouped as as government adversaries, but they pose also an important threat, and most of them just steal data for their own interest or for financial gain or ideologic purposes as well. And of course, e-crime criminal actors. There's a lot of them. We all know about things that are, like phishing and, stolen information regarding accounts, credits, all of these things that make our life more miserable. So that's where companies like Crowdstrike play a very important role. Right. Going to our team, the data science team, of which I'm part of, I'll give you a bit of information of the things that we do. So we build machine learning models that in the cloud. We use AWS and Google Cloud Platform for detections. That's where we deliver our models using all the technologies that we need in order to do this. It's a very different thing than to just deploy a model and train a model on your machine. Because of the amount of data that we possess, we have to process like in excess of 300 billion events a day. That cannot be done on local machines, so that all of this workload is done in the cloud. And because of this, all the model training is done in the cloud. So all of us are used to working exclusively with the cloud. There's nothing you can do on your machine when you have to train models that are developed and deployed in the cloud. We are a very large team. Now we are over 60 people, I think even more than that. And we are growing very, very fast. We have various guys in our team. They are engineers, data engineers that work exclusively with the cloud pipeline. So they do work like, they prepare all the data, they sanitize the data for us, and they deploy all the pipelines that we need to extract the data that we need. They also integrate the models that we developed as scientists. So all of these models are integrated using the work that is done by the engineers. We have analysts that look at the data and draw our attention to data that is mostly of interest to us, and they help us with things that, you know, as scientists, that we are only interested in machine learning. We are not necessarily have all the information that we need for you know, to understand the cyber or malware or cyber attack. So this is where the analysts come very handful, because they help us understand all of that information and what work we need to do in order to extract the features that are relevant for this kind of data. And of course, scientists, we look at the data, from a data perspective, so we do a lot of data-driven analysis. We speak with both engineers and analysts to help us with our workflows. We develop models, mainly classifiers, using you know, latest technologies. For the experiments that we usually do as scientists, we initially start with tools like Python, because it's a very versatile tool. But once we have a model, a candidate model that is, you know, goes to all the stages that a model needs to go before it gets deployed. So the model is being validated by our threat analyst. We have malware research center, sandbox team. All of these guys are looking at how the model performs in the wild before the model is being deployed. And once the model is ready for production, we move from Python, we move to Rust. So we Rustify our models because Rust is much faster. It also increases our detection rates, response times, and that's what we use in the cloud. All our structure is built on using Rust. Golang is also a language that is used by data engineers in order to parallelize a lot of data streams. But as scientists, we mainly use Python and Rust. As I mentioned before, we have people working all around the globe. The data science team is also spread between the US East, US West, Europe. We have a large office in Bucharest, Romania. And we also have analysts in India, and as well as we have a lot of other support teams in the UK. But for data science, I'm currently the only guy in the UK, so I'm building a team here. I coordinate a few guys that are working in Europe, and I've actually this year I've just recruited an intern for our data science team in the UK. So yeah, we are hiring interns since 2018. We initially started with hiring interns in the US. Then since 2018, we also 2019 as well, we started hiring people in Bucharest, in the Romanian office. And this year, as I said, we also have one new intern in the UK team. So I'm looking at expanding the UK data science team. In terms of the work we do, as I said, we deployed classifiers that you know, are trained to distinguish between malware and clean files, or malware and adware and popware. So on our blog, you can see the kind of work that we do and we are proud of. These are just a few samples. So if you go to the crowdstrike.com blog, under the engineering and technology category, you'll see all the work that we bragged about. For example, this is the mold work is something that I've worked on. This was basically a work that involved looking at the data and trying to understand if the labeling that our samples have associated was correct or not. Because working with such a huge amount of data, we have automatic tools that also label the data. The problem is that you know, to look at a sample is not as easy as looking at, you know, cat and dogs pictures on the internet. everyone can do that and can say, oh, this is a cat, this is a dog. So for deep learning models, it's when they use images like this, it's very easy to outsource this labeling. However, all the labeling, we have to do it in-house, and we have automatic tools that detect if a file is a malware or not, but those tools are obviously not perfect. So humans have to look at the data as well, the threat analysts. And in order to support their work, this mold work, which is basically looking at labeling dissonance, or modeling label dissonance, is looking at the labeling and how if this label is noisy. And there are various techniques that you can apply in order to determine if a label is noisy or not, and this is described in this this blog post. We are also looking at things, for example, like overfitting in machine learning. Most of the common sense is that overfitting is not good and must be avoided, as well as underfitting. However, in this work, we show that some of the models that we have perform much better if we overfit. And there is also a research paper published by Google Brain, which shows that actually the conventional wisdom on overfitting and underfitting is deprecated. And this work here on memorizing behavior describes this sort of overfitting, when overfitting is actually good for the models. We are also interested in understanding how our models perform. We don't like black box models like the normal neural networks and deep learning models are. So we look at ways to understand how the models respond to a certain input and to characterize the input better. So there are various techniques that use convolutional neural networks in order to describe this sort of work. So yeah, we are mostly welcome to have a look on our blog and see if there is anything that you find interesting. Yeah, and to give you a bit of flavor of what my journey has been so far. I did my PhD at the University of Nottingham in applied mathematics with a video. We both attended this university, and that's how we met. I joined Crowdstrike in 2018 as a data science manager in the Romanian office. Since then, the team in Romania has grown because we had hired a lot of people, including interns. And since in 2019, I moved back to the UK, where I started as an individual contributor. Recently, I've been made the data science manager in the UK. I'm looking to expand the team here as well. Before I joined Crowdstrike and after finishing university, I did a lot of things. I enjoyed a lot teaching, so I started a position of a math teacher at an independent school in London. But I just didn't have the patience enough. So after about the first half term, I moved into the industry and I joined Network Rail, the British Railways. And there I did mathematical modeling, which I was good at. And also I've started doing, developing software for modeling purposes. Later on, I joined the professional services, and I did that with a consultancy, Elastic Cloud, which is a Microsoft Gold partner. With them, I worked on various big data analytics and machine learning projects that involved Rolls-Royce in Derby, Sports Direct, and other solar energies companies. So it's been quite a varied, landscape for myself in terms of my career. I've worked on different industries and I learned a lot in doing so. The data science is, well, at that time was a relatively new field, especially for companies. I mean, analytics has always been there and the companies were looking at analytics, but they didn't have the tools and all the knowledge that data science, and especially machine learning, was bringing and was becoming very popular. So it was a very good opportunity for me to move into this field. and it required a lot of self-learning and a lot of overtime, because obviously my training has been fundamentally based on STEM subjects, and I was very good at maths and physics, and also became very good at computer science. But data science is a very challenging field. It has a lot of various roles that are available, like analysts, data engineers, or machine learning scientists. And all of these roles required you to be very specialized and to keep learning, because new tools, as I said, this is a new field, a relatively new field as compared to others. And they always require you to stay in touch with the latest developments, and in order to grow your career. So that's very important. Yeah, we are hiring. So these are just, I'll give you a brief overview of what our previous summer intern programs are. An internship is a very good way to join Crowdstrike, because Crowdstrike is a cybersecurity company. So a lot of the knowledge that the threat analysts have, it's very specific knowledge. It's very specific to cybersecurity, and it's a field that is not very easy to get into. However, if you join an internship program, you have the opportunity to learn from the best in industry. You also get paid, and you have something to put on your CV. But most importantly, you have the opportunities to secure graduate positions afterwards. That's especially relevant in the data science field, because a lot of the things that we do require very specialist knowledge, and you don't get that training at the university. And because of this, we prefer to hire interns and to shape them into, future scientists that are very, very well suited to work for us. And that's why we invest a lot of effort into these internship programs, to make sure that the candidates that we select are successful. Of course, the selection is very competitive, but also the benefits, if you join Crowdstrikes, are proportional. So yeah, it's a great place to work. So I can say that from my perspective. These guys here in the center, these are guys from the Romanian offices. They're actually in our team, and these are previous interns that now are all full-timers, and enjoyed their career at Crowdstrike. Yeah, maybe it has been good to have Amy to tell you more about our HR university recruiter, to tell about our internship programs. But basically, you have a lot of development opportunities. You have competitions. We've also got, a lot of exclusive events, exclusive speaker series, development workshops. Yeah. When we used to work in the offices, we had like stock fridges. That's no longer the case. Now you have to stock your fridge yourself. But still, we all hope to go back by next year, to be back to normal. We might also have some events this summer, but that really depends. So yeah, welcoming. This is just a brief timeline of how internship develops. By this is for the red team, but it's very similar for the data science team as well. So usually we have 12 weeks. You'll work on all the projects that the interns work are very similar to what our full-time employees work on, because we don't want just to do an internship exercise. So this internship is actually a way for us to see if the candidate would be a great fit for our company. But it also it's a very good opportunity for the intern to explore the exact work that we are doing, and basically get immersed into the team experience. And the project that the intern works on, of course, he or she is being supported by our senior members in the team. But the idea is that at the end of the 12 weeks, which is basically 1 quarter because we work in quarters, the idea is that the final project is a deliverable that ideally would get integrated further down the line into our cloud pipeline. So it's not just an exercise. The work that the intern does is actually used by the team. Yep. Well, this is our website in case you're interested in Crowdstrike jobs. And thank you. If you got any questions, please fire them up.